I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only
What's
one.
up, everybody? Welcome to my channel.
No one
I'm
likes being
Sunshinery. Make
lied
sure
to.
to subscribe and like this video.
You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We are here for chapter 25 of the Rachel Goes Rogue podcast. It is titled, The Reunion I Wasn't Even At. Duh, girl. Duh. We know you weren't there. To me, the title already just makes it feel like it's going to be one of those episodes where she's whining. The show notes say, Rachel responds to all of the chatter about her during the first part of the Vanderpump Rules reunion. Oh, this is going to be good. So let's buckle up. Let's get right into it. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And then set your notifications to all. All right, let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Rachel Goes Rogue. This is your host, Rachel Leviss, and today we are talking about the reunion, part 1. So let's get into it. I have my producers here asking me some questions so that we can get this conversation started.
So even in the teaser that they put out, your name was all over that. There was a whole lot of discussion, even about this podcast and about some of the choices that you've made not going on this season, but yet you're still being talked about at the reunion. Hearing your name being brought up, how did that feel?
Kind of expected for my name to be brought up. It's almost like you kind of have to laugh at it at this point because, oh man, they just have an issue with me commenting on my experience. When I speak, they don't want me to have a voice. I think we've said it before on this podcast. It's just a little bit hypocritical when the cast is talking about me on this season. And I talk about my experience and name names, and they have an issue with it. So it's just the same old thing. And I think after this season, I don't think that I'll be a topic of conversation. So we're almost there.
I kind of feel like a broken record when it comes to this because I feel like she just doesn't fucking get it. Like, it's to be expected, yes, because they filmed this just a couple months prior to the reunion that you were at while you were, yes, getting therapy at the Meadows and all of that. Your name, of course, is going to still be a topic because of the magnitude of the affair and what you did, how you up and left, how you left no one with any closure, though some people didn't want closure. I understand why you did what you did. You had to go do what you had to do, but people have the right to continue to talk about the experience and what they are going through. And I just felt like some of these podcast episodes that you did regarding Vanderpump Rules, you weren't understanding why they were talking about you. And let's be real, Rachel, you were at the Meadows. I'm pretty sure you were sitting there talking with your therapist about your experience and what you went through the last how many months. And that was a form of release, and you needed to speak to somebody to be able to understand everything that was happening and what you had gone through. So why is it any different for them, except that they had cameras in their face because, yes, they are on a reality TV show. These are people's real lives. Like, this is what you did in real life as well. You were doing this without cameras around. So, I just don't get where she doesn't get it. I just don't, guys. I really don't. Do I think that next season she would not be a topic? Yeah, for sure. She's not going to be around unless she does something stupid that makes her name be brought up, or they talk about, lawsuits that are still going on. That's still because you are inserting yourself in their life in situations that you say you want nothing to do with. So let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. It's going to be one of those, guys.
So Lisa specifically was asked if she thought that you would come back this season. And she said, and I quote, all of her actions were so kind of unpredictable. I didn't really know, but all of this nonsense on a podcast and her denigrating everyone. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Lisa thinks I'm denigrating everyone. I'm definitely not. If anything, they're denigrating me, talking about me every single week and just painting me in the worst possible light, even though I'm not even there to defend myself. But yeah, I have gone rogue. I'm actually like figuring out what is the healthiest option for me. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Going back to Vanderpump Rules would jeopardize my mental well-being. And after watching this whole season play out, I'm happy that I didn't go back. I think it would have been really bad for my mental well-being. And this is the season that they got to have. And unfortunately, like it wasn't that spectacular from my point of view. Anyway, my opinion. No, I'm not going to let myself enter into that arena again and be dogpiled on and be humiliated and harassed and bullied and talked down to the way that I have been in the past for things that were for smaller things, if that makes sense. And this is like the center, the nucleus of Vanderpump right now. But I think it's also like, if you really wanted me to come back, then show some compassion for the network. Support your cast members when they're asking for help. You know, if I was supported in the way that I felt like I deserved to be, then maybe there would have been a world where I did come back. But then I also would have had to ensure that we would have productive conversations and not just like, you know, dogpiling and gaslighting by Scheana and all that negativity. I guess it's a tough ask. You know, I had an ask and I wasn't met where I wanted to be met. And so I had to walk away.
Well, Rachel, I don't think your podcast is very spectacular either. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but like, it's not that good. And what it comes down to, again, like I've been saying with her, is the money. That's the last thing she said. And there was a reason why she said it very much at the last bit. Because that's what it all came down to, was they were not going to pay her the same amount as Tom and Ariana. And this is why I also believe that the lawsuit is also for a monetary gain for her. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. I know others may not agree with me, but that is just how I feel. Because like I said before, if she really thought that this was a huge crime that he should have been prosecuted for, then she should have made a police report and she should have went and tried to hold him accountable criminally. Obtaining a recording without permission is not legal in California. Yes, there are things that, and I was just looking at the lawsuit again last night, all the different cases that Sandaval's attorneys put down as references to different reasons why it should be demurred. And it was just some of these cases, it's like, how can you even compare that to this case? Kind of a thing. But I'm working on that video as well. I'm a multitasker. That's my ADHD, so that will be coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. But this is what I don't like about Rachel, and it's what deters me. I don't agree that she should have came back for the season. Her mental health is more important than anything. I agree there. I don't think she would have fit in very well with this season. And what she's not understanding, she's like, they talk about me every week and I'm not allowed to. It's like, but this was how many months ago? They're not talking about you now every week. Yeah, now they have to recap the show, yes, because it's going on, but they're still not really talking about you like you think they are. You are very much a fraction of what they talk about. Maybe Tom, but that's Tom, dude. He has his own issues going on. People have moved on. And if you really wanted to move on with your life, you would figure out what you want to do and continue doing this podcast and not talking about Vanderpump. But this is where we get stuck with you, because you just don't get it, that you're very much obsessed with this show. Just like we all are. Welcome to being a fan.
So Tom was asked if he knew anything about you wanting to come back, and he said that he encouraged you to take time away from everyone, including him, and come to your decision that way. You've kind of talked about how things went down in previous episodes. How did it feel hearing him say that?
Oh my gosh, it's infuriating. And I don't mean to smile, but watching him say that is so infuriating because then like a few seconds later he's calling me a coward. But if you listen to him, like he's constantly contradicting himself in the way that he's putting up this front, like he's being supportive and he wants the best for me and he wants me to like take some space to figure things out for myself. Yet, if I do take some space and figure things out for myself, not only am I selfish, but if I choose to not come back, then I'm also a coward. So, do you see how infuriating that can be? And how do you handle that? It's like you just have to laugh it off because this person is showing you time and time again the type of person that they are. And I want to believe that he has good intentions and that he could be a supportive person. But deep down, he has ulterior motives and he really just wanted me back because it would make him look better and he would have more support.
First off, sweetheart, we don't know if you coming back would have made Tom look even worse than it already made him look, or if you would have made yourself look even worse than you already look. Like, that's just how it is. You will never know because you never did it. So you cannot predict what would have happened if you came back. You made the choices you made, and that's just where you need to lie. Be happy with the choices that you made. You seem very upset with the choices that you have made. And maybe that's just me, but like, you really seem like you did want to be there and tell him off. Listen, I get it. I'd want to tell him off too. It was very infuriating what he said about you. And I did believe that he was playing it up for the fucking TV. I did. I don't like Tom. I think he's full of fucking shit. Kind of like you. Oh my God, I am not being nice today, guys. Like, I just feel like there's just some things about her that she is just playing it up to for everybody to be like, I'm this victim. I'm this person that didn't get this chance and I had all these issues. It's life. Everyone has issues in life. It's how we handle it, how we move forward, and how we love ourselves. And you have a lot of work to do still, and it's clear to see. I just feel like there's so much of her that is doubting if she should have gone back or not. Though she knows she made the right choice. In the long run, I believe she made the right choice too. Like I said, your mental health is what is more important. And you were in a stage in your life that you needed to figure it out. And I get that. I don't think that this show is good for you. But you doing what you do also isn't good for you as well. So it's like, are you still making similar choices or are you not? If you don't like these people, if you didn't want to be involved with this, you don't have to talk about it. You could have been doing so much more with your podcast. But let's just keep going because I feel like this is only going to get more interesting. Like, really.
So on one hand, you have Tom calling you a coward. On the other hand, you have Lala kind of sticking up for you and saying that, she didn't know if she could do what you did last year, showing up to the reunion. She says that time heals, and had you come back, that you probably would have had a really productive conversation. But then on the other hand, she's like, but I still stand by everything that I said at the reunion last year. So what is your take on what Lala was saying at the reunion, and where is your relationship with her today? Because she kind of seems like the only one that's at least had your back in small ways.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how this has played out. And my feelings towards Lala have changed a little bit since we first started recording this podcast and since the moment that I got that voice memo from her back, months and months ago, last summer. At first, I really thought that she wanted me to come back to the show, and that was the only intention for sending me that voice memo. But as I'm seeing her really connect to the different parts of being in an abusive, narcissistic relationship, there's like a common thread there. And I think she really does get it because she's experienced it firsthand. And it's validating in a way to have that representation on Vanderpump Rules when I'm not there. So hearing her stick up for me once again and just validate that I was very courageous to come back for the reunion last year, it is validating. I think also she walks a fine line between being supportive of me and also like how she said she stands behind what she said last year at the reunion. I think she's also aware that everyone else in the room is anti Rachel. So she's choosing her words carefully. But if you listen to what she actually has to say, you can tell that she's pretty supportive, which is a good feeling.
My thing with Lala is I really do believe that she's just trying to understand where people are coming from. And that's her personality with people and how she's always kind of been. And she's kind of lost herself. So she has found herself as a mother and she enjoys it. I wish her all the best of luck with the new baby. She seems so happy. I just watched 2 Amazon lives, recording them yesterday for you guys. But I also feel like, one, with the whole reunion comment, like, oh, she gives Rachel so much credit for showing up. That's because she gives you credit because they annihilated you for what you did. And it took a lot of courage to show up knowing that these people, all of them pretty much, hated your fucking guts. That's where that came from, in my opinion. Like, that's how I saw that. I do think she understands, like, being in a difficult relationship where she dealt with a narcissist and she dealt with somebody controlling her and making her feel a certain way. I don't think she feels like I know she knows that you dealt with a lot with James. She's friends with James. She understands how he is. I also do understand that Sandaval is a complete fucking mental head case with women, and he plays mind games. We saw it with Ariana, and I can understand him doing it with you as well. So there is that little bit of she feels sorry for you because having to feel all those crazy emotions that you felt during that period and being lost and at your rock bottom has made you who you are today, but you just don't really see that yet. And I think that she does have some kind of pity for you, but when it comes down to it, she's never going to cross Scheana. I say that, but I'm not Lala. And she might have a conversation with you, but I don't think it would be like friends ever. I don't. I really don't. So I'm glad that your opinion has changed on her, but my opinion about her and your, like, relationship is still the same, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Because I know there's a lot of you that like Lala, there's a lot of you that don't like Lala, and I'm kind of like, I like her, but I understand where you guys are coming from. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. I love chatting with you all.
So where would you say your relationship with her is today?
Well, I don't have a relationship with her because I don't text her or call her or reach out to her at all. So we don't have a relationship, but I don't have hard feelings against her. I do think that maybe Lala and I could have a constructive conversation to move forward. I'm not sure that we would hang out and become friends, but I do think we have a common ground from both reality TV and bad past relationships.
And so she kind of was the main one taking a lot of time talking at the reunion. She was interjecting on a lot of places. She even said something really interesting at the end of the episode where she said that the rules of the game regarding filming have changed this season. Do you think everything she's saying during this reunion is genuine, or do you think she's just trying to keep a job?
That's a great question. I think a large part of Lala's motivation is to ensure that she does have job security in this entertainment industry.
I just want to know if you find her words genuine. She also does kind of give the energy that she's the only person being really honest and saying what's really in her brain. So It's hard to tell if she is being honest to a fault or if she is doing these things with an ulterior motive as to like keep the show going or keep a job. So which side do you kind of fall on with that?
I think that both can be true. I think that she can be honest to a fault and actually like say what she's thinking because she tends to do that, right? And she also wants to ensure that she has a job longevity with being a cast member on Vanderpump Rules. For Lala, I think she's doing her best to balance reality TV and the producer's needs while she's evolving as a person. It's a lot of pressure, which I understand. I think both things can be true. And I suspect that she'll probably transfer over to the Valley. And I think that would do the Valley well.
She has come out to say that she's not. Says she didn't buy her house in the Valley so she could be on the show. Do you believe that?
Okay, that could be true too. She didn't buy her house in the Valley to be on the show, but that doesn't mean that she's not going to be on the show. We'll see.
I always felt that Lala had a personality for TV. She does very well with balancing reality TV and her life. I know that it took a long time for her to get that way, but I think she does it the best out of a lot of people, and she is kind of honest to a fault. I believe that she just like says things without thinking and just kind of wants to better understand people's situations so she can then understand maybe where they're coming from, which is something that not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people want to see from a different person's point of view what they might be feeling or going through, or even care about what other people are going through. So that is what I love about Lala, but I do believe she does things to secure her job. I'm not saying that she didn't buy the house in the Valley to maybe one day be on the Valley. It is now a newer show. People like it. I like it. You know, she could do very well on that show. I think it's a completely different show compared to Vanderpump, though it's very similar to Vanderpump. I just can't wait to see what they're going to do for next season, seeing that so many couples have split up. So it is going to be very interesting to see. I do believe she plots some things. Like, she plans it out. Like, she's trying to secure her job. And if anyone faults her for that, it's like, well, that's what she does for work. So why would you fault her for wanting to have security for her family? I mean, granted, she does and says things that maybe she shouldn't always do and say things, but that's what makes for good TV, and she knows that. And I do believe that she does some things for the TV aspect of it. And then I feel like sometimes that she does things out of the heart. And this is where I get torn with her. But I like her personality. I like Lala. I wish the best for all of them. There are things that I don't like about each person, though. It's the same for anybody. But I really, I think Lala would be the only one that would have a conversation with her, but they'll never be friends. Never. And I really think that would be getting Rachel's hopes up, because I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I know that they have a lot in common, but it's not going to be enough in common that they actually will find in common, kind of a thing. They just aren't. They're two way different people. And everything I've ever seen from these two, they'd get along for 5 minutes and then they'd hate each other for 20. This is how their relationship has been since day one. And I think it will never change.
So Lala does have a moment where one of the big moments where she really stuck up for you was talking about the grooming. She really clarified to Tom what grooming was. And he kind of rebuts what she says by saying that he was very impressionable when you took off all your clothes and jumped in his pool.
Jeez. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, that may be true. Although I didn't take off all of my clothes, but I'm talking about the moments leading up to that point. There was intention behind the way that Tom really gave me undivided attention to want to know my situation and what was happening in my reality. Things were a little bit blurry, and it was a gradual thing that took place where I started feeling more attracted to him. When we're talking about grooming, we're talking about the events that led up to the moment that Tom is bringing up at the reunion, me getting in the pool and us kissing. Also, if you haven't listened to this podcast, definitely go back after finishing our recording here. It's chapter 13, and it's with your Bish therapist, and she breaks down grooming so well. And I'm not saying that Tom groomed me to be like Tom's victim. I can take responsibility for my part in that too, because I was in a place where I was seeking validation from somebody and I felt safe around Tom and I enjoyed my time with him. And, like I wasn't someone who necessarily fell victim to him, but there is a big age gap. He also was aware of my situation and knew that I was very vulnerable. And come on, like Tom is a manipulative person, like hands down. We can all see it. So there's a term that psychologists use for what happened between Tom and I, and it's called grooming.
And listen, I think that she was very naive. She was very vulnerable. She was very impressionable. She was looking for love in all the wrong places. She didn't know if she was going up or down. She had alcohol influencing her decisions. And she was not in the right frame of mind when getting with Tom. And I do believe he made her feel secure. He made her feel safe. He made her feel wanted and giving her that attention, and just saw this beautiful young lady in front of him and projected that to her so that she knew how he felt. Do I believe it was full-on grooming? I don't, but I'm also not Rachel, and I'm not going to say that that was not her experience. If she felt that way, if her and her therapist talked about it, and that's what they felt that experience could have been, that is a good possibility that it could have been that she was groomed in that sense. I do believe, though, her accountability, she did take some here, but then she used the BUT word. And that means forget everything I just said. This is what I really mean. And she's like, but come on, guys. We all know he's a manipulative person. He is. I never said he never manipulated you, and neither did anybody else. You fell into the trap. You fell prey. Goddamn fucking airplanes. But I also feel like you had motive. I also feel like you did that for your reasons, and you did that because you wanted that. You had those feelings that you never felt before. You didn't give a fuck about anybody else's. You had the choice to walk away. You knew he had a girlfriend that he had been with for how many years. You chose to do what you did. And that's why I say, like, I can't give you this one, Rachel. I just can't. And by the way, I also have the podcast here, chapter 13, I think she said. Check it out here on my channel and get all of my good commentary points in between.
And then also another little note with the grooming thing that I didn't mention with your bitch therapist, but I kind of wish that I did. I think there's also this element that the show itself brings in to play. I think Vanderpump Rules itself groomed me to be okay with this type of behavior because it's been modeled for me time and time again with previous relationships on the show from the very beginning. And like, I'm not a fan either. I know a lot of people think that I'm like a huge fangirl and just that's why I was on the show. That's not the case. Anyway, I don't need to defend myself. My point is that we see Jax cheating on Stassi. We see Tom cheating on Kristen with Ariana. We see Lala and James have a thing. And then, Lala telling me on camera that they had a thing. We see Lala going down on Ariana. And it's very messy and complicated and blurry. And it's also like these things are accepted, basically, as the norm. And this is not to excuse my behavior at all, but it definitely was a factor in all of this, my decision making. It's something that has been normalized on this show.
Well, girl, if that didn't prove that you are a fan, I don't know what else, it will. Because that just proves to me that you have been influenced by this show because you were a fan of this show. You chose to get into this group of people. You chose to start dating James. You chose to have these interactions. You chose to work at SUR. This is what happens within that group of friends. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen outside in other groups of friends, because there are definitely other Southern charm. There you go. It happens. Even Southern hospitality. Like, this is something that happens in the real world too, girl. You chose, though, to be with those people. You knew what you were signing yourself up for, and let's be real, you were a fangirl. I know you don't gotta prove anything to anybody, but we know, girl. We know. And it just proved even more my point. Like, you saying that you were influenced by Stassi and Jax, and this, and Ariana and Lala. Why'd you even have to mention that? Like, I swear. But anyways, you put yourself into that position. You allowed it to happen. You could have chose better for yourself. You loved it. You loved every minute of it. That's not Vanderpump Rules' fault. That's you making the life choices that you made. I'm not going to blame my life choices on, I don't know, YouTube or my parents for allowing me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think she's reaching real hard right here.
I mean, there's no way that you could have predicted how big this scandal got, but you're saying that this behavior was kind of normalized. Did you think that if you were ever found out, it was kind of going to be treated the same way any other cheating situation on the show had been treated? You didn't even really think that it would have blown up?
Correct. Yes. I thought that if Tom and I got found out or like we came clean, that it would have been treated the way that cheating has always been treated on this show. All of the past cheating behaviors were not only accepted, but they were encouraged for many seasons with each cast member and made good TV to be consumed by the viewers, which kept the viewers coming back. Scandoval, just insanity, the scale that it's imploded to. And I don't think anyone could have predicted that.
Definitely not. You were saying that you take responsibility for your part in Scandoval. You admit that. Schwartz, during the reunion, basically called you out and called you conniving, called you ruthless. Last year, Schwartz was doubling down on not knowing about the affair. This year, now he's coming at you, calling you conniving and ruthless. Do you think it's because you kind of outed his role in all the things?
I think that Schwartz is Tom's mouthpiece. I think that Schwartz spends so much time with Tom that he hears Tom talk about me in a certain way. And without a doubt, Tom has been the one saying that I am conniving and I'm ruthless. I don't think that Schwartz actually thinks that, because when Schwartz and I were all hanging out together, it wasn't ideal. And Schwartz did have an issue with it. And Schwartz did try to talk some sense into Sandaval. But Sandoval also didn't uphold Schwartz's boundaries with not hanging out at his apartment. So to hear Schwartz say that I was conniving and ruthless, it's just like, come on, Schwartz.
He said, you are not a victim in this, that you were just as conniving, if not more so, and ruthless in your pursuit for pleasure.
Wow. Okay. I don't think that I'm more conniving than Tom Sandoval. And yeah, maybe I was a little bit ruthless with my pursuit of pleasure. Yeah, okay. I can own that. Sure. But I feel like Schwartz is spinning it like it was all me and I was the mastermind behind it all, and that Tom gets off scot-free. And that's just obviously not the case.
I don't think that the cheating was encouraged at all. I literally think this is just how these people were. They had friends that, yes, encouraged it, but it wasn't production encouraging it. And you are making, like, I don't know if you're not thinking clearly, but hooking up with someone once or even twice is a lot different than having an affair for 7 fucking months. 7 months. Not a 1-time, 2-time hookup. Girl, you just don't get it. That's why the magnitude got to the scale that it did. Come on, Rachel. Name somebody else that had an affair for even 6 months. Oh, you can't name anybody. That's right. And then going into what Schwartz said about Rachel, I think Schwartz was on point. And I don't think that he was necessarily giving Sandaval more leeway than Rachel and like blaming it all on Rachel. I think that she, yes, was very conniving just as much as Sandoval, if not a little bit less. I'll give her a little less. But she was also very ruthless, just like Sandoval. They both need to be held accountable. But there she goes again with that but. Listen, girl, you're not learning anything. Nothing. This is just you saying whatever you couldn't say because you weren't a part of the season on your podcast. That's what this is. I can't even give her credit for saying that she was ruthless, because then she used the goddamn word but. Come on, Rachel.
I think at the end of that victim ruthless comment, Tom said it was 50-50. I hear the way that Tom has spoken about the situation before, and he portrays it as, I was the one that seduced him and I'm the one that is responsible for it, which is definitely not the case. And Tom was the one that was in the relationship. He had the responsibility to end that relationship with Ariana if he didn't want to be in that anymore, if he wasn't happy in that anymore. He had support to do that and still failed to do that. I believe that Tom had the responsibility to break up with her. So I don't think that it is 50-50.
And wait, you don't think it was your job as a friend to not seduce or fuck your friend's boyfriend of 9 years? I think you also had a responsibility to say no, to not get with him, to not even put yourself in that situation. You also need to hold yourself accountable for the things that you did. I believe it's about 60-40. 60 him, 40 you. Not 50-50. But 60-40, because you as well have a responsibility for what you did. Yes, he was responsible for getting out of the relationship if he wasn't happy. He is responsible for also not fucking you because he had a girlfriend. But so did you. You knew he had a girlfriend. That was your friend, whether you say she was your friend or not. She was your fucking friend, Rachel. That's your responsibility too.
At the end of that exchange too, Katie says that you haven't taken responsibility.
What do you guys need me to do to take responsibility? I really don't know. I take responsibility for my part in the affair. I totally do. I can see how it's messed up, and I apologize to Ariana and the people that I hurt, because it wasn't just Ariana either. It was our friends who trusted me and trusted Tom, and that wasn't cool to be deceiving. And Ariana trusted me to be honest with her, and I had a responsibility to respect our friendship, and I failed to do that. I take responsibility with that. I am sorry. I'm doing everything in my power not to put myself in that position again, and to really prioritize my female friendships. And I've gone away to figure out what led me here. I have really done a deep dive with therapists on this whole Scandoval situation. I'm doing this podcast to share those things with you guys because I feel like it will help other people who maybe don't have access to therapy or want to know more, have that curiosity as to my thought process behind it and how that can relate to themselves. So I really feel like I have done everything in my power to take responsibility and to take accountability. I haven't denied anything, and I am upholding my values, and I'm prioritizing my mental health. And that's really all I can do.
Really, Rachel? Really? You are literally not taking accountability. I do not believe that you are truly sorry for your actions. I still believe that you think that you are some victim in this situation, when you're really not. You had a choice. You chose to make those choices. Even this podcast right now, until they mentioned it, that's when you apologized. You don't apologize unless somebody says something about it. That's how I know you are not sorry. Because people that are sorry will apologize even when they're not even talking about it because that's just how they feel. It eats them alive. This isn't eating you alive. This, if anything, ruined your life because you made the choices that you did and you didn't expect all this hate from the choices that you made. But you made those choices. Yes, you are bettering yourself. Yes, you went and did therapy and took care of the things that you needed to take care of. It takes time. Actions take time. Your words are not aligning with your actions. This is why nobody believes that you have taken accountability for your actions. This is literally the first time I believe that you've actually sincerely apologized to Ariana for the things that you did. And you recognize the things that you did. Because just saying sorry, not recognizing what you did, does not, that doesn't tell anybody that you understood what you did. This is the first time I've actually heard you say the words and what you did wrong to Ariana. But if it wasn't for your publicist saying, well, this is what Katie said, you would have never said it in this podcast. You've been blaming everybody else before this point. All right, let's in, out. Let's continue with Rachel.
And so you've spoken about this before, and you said that the lawsuit that you are bringing upon Ariana and Tom is just that. You know, it's something that you believe you're doing to uphold your values and to prioritize yourself.
This is also a part of me upholding my boundaries. A boundary has been violated by Tom for filming me without asking my permission first. And if he would have asked, I would have freaking said hell no. And then not only that, but like the boundary had been violated because Tom recorded me without me knowing, but then Ariana was the one that sent it to me. And that's a boundary violation as well. This is an action I'm taking to uphold my boundaries and to show other people that this isn't okay.
What about the boundaries that you crossed that clearly you cannot be held accountable for in a civil matter or a criminal matter? You crossed boundaries as a friend by sleeping with your friend's boyfriend for over 7 months. You crossed that boundary, Rachel. You wouldn't have been making these FaceTime interactions with Sandaval if you never crossed that boundary. So for you to get mad at somebody for seeing what you did behind her back and then confronting you, oh my God, bitch, this is where you are playing the victim and you do not get it. You don't get it. You are literally trying to hold her accountable for seeing something that you were doing behind her back and her confronting you with it like you dirty tramp. Look at you. The person that you really need to be mad at is him. Him. You are mad at her for finding something that he did. If you and him never had this affair, that would have never been found now, would it? You are mad at the wrong fucking person. And that's why people are not happy with this lawsuit. Go hold Tom accountable. I understand that. But for Ariana, for what you're doing to her, after everything you've already done to her, it's just so beyond. It's just being ultra petty ass bitch. That's how I see it. And you know what? She has yet to demolish you alive. And I give her a lot of credit for not saying the things that I would like to say to you about all of that.
Well, I want your opinion on Scheana kind of speaking up for Ariana, because it's almost like a role reversal of what happened last year, where they were asking Scheana about her lawsuit. She couldn't speak on it. And then Tom kind of spoke and interjected and caused a whole issue there. Now this time, Scheana's the one that's speaking up because they can't speak on it. What was your take on that?
I think it's interesting because in this reunion as well, like I'm not there to be represented in the conversation either. I remember last year when they were asking Scheana about the restraining order that was put in place. They only asked Scheana about that and they didn't ask me about it when I was on stage. So watching this back, obviously I know that, I'm not there to answer any questions, but it is interesting to see that Scheana is the one as a representative for Ariana saying it's ridiculous. Of course, she can't comment on it. And then also Tom spinning it like, oh, well, I understand if she just wanted to press charges against me, but doing it against Ariana is despicable or whatever he said. It became a big deal because, first of all, you don't take a video like that without somebody knowing. And then you don't leave it on your phone for your girlfriend to find. And then also the way it blew up, Ariana went straight to production to tell them about it. TMZ reported on it and this video, and there was a target on me. Like, people were out to take me down. And I knew that this video had a high probability of being circulated. So that was absolutely terrifying. And oh my gosh, if that video got out, I would have still gone to the Meadows because I would have been in an even worse place. But like, imagine the additional trauma on top of that, what I was already going through. I think I would have been there for like 6 months.
I really don't think that Scheana is Ariana or Tom's representative for talking about the lawsuit because they can't. Technically, if they wanted to talk about the lawsuit, they could. But a smart person doesn't talk about lawsuits that are pending. So that way, nothing that is said can be used or held against them, because that's what would have happened if they did talk about it. Just like everything that you talk about could be used against you, Rachel. And let's for a second say it wasn't a video recording. Let's just say it was a text message that Ariana found. The repercussions, in my opinion, would have been the fucking same. It would have been at the same magnitude. I literally do not think it has anything to do with the fact that there was a video of you masturbating that was found on Tom's phone. It was the fact that you were having an affair with him for 7 months and doing it behind everyone's back. Whether it was a video or a text message that she had found, it would have been the same outcome. It would have. And if the video did get out there, I could see where you would be devastated for people to see it. My advice would have been to you then, if say that did happen, take it like the Kardashian did. Kim made a whole career out of her sex tape. And that got leaked, apparently. But let's just say, I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad that none of that happened because I'm saying Ariana. Ariana is smart enough to know fucking better. Unlike you. So, we won't go there either.
Well, he then said that you don't have a soul.
I'm not going around on my podcast saying that these people don't have souls. It's a new low, and I think it's more reflective of who Tom is as a person. And honestly, it's really hard for me to even like comment on it right now because I just know that that's not true at all. So it's hard for me to like get into some sort of feeling about it.
Do you also think, Rachel, that it's two-tiered? So on one hand, there's these individual people talking about individual feelings, but at the end of the day, they're still on a reality show. They're making sound bites and also sort of redirecting the narrative. So when the fans are saying, what's going on with the show? And it's not great and it's boring. Well, they bring you into the picture and they badmouth you. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that part of them is actually saying it, or part of it is production value and the direction of the narrative because it brings up news?
That's a great question that I kind of forgot to think about because, as we all know, Tom does prioritize the show. This is not his first rodeo. He knows what he's doing. He knows that production needs certain sound bites. And it does change the trajectory of how people view me, I guess, in a way, if I'm not there to represent myself. So yeah, that is interesting. A really good point that I think we do need to take into consideration. It's not that exciting of a show, and the cast seems to get all riled up about tearing me down. But yeah, it seems like it's calculated what Tom is saying about me to present me in a way that would in turn support him being a better looking person.
again, here you are both sitting here downgrading the show. That is your personal opinion that you guys think that the show sucks. I don't think it sucks, and I don't think that they bring up your name just to cause chaos. Your name gets brought up because of what you did. And again, you are just not recognizing that the 7 long months that you were fucking Tom, that caused pain and agony to people, that they're now trying to pick up the pieces just like you had to do, but we're seeing it on camera. That's the difference. And you are harshly judging them, though yet you say that's not what you do, but that's what you're doing. But yet they can't judge you at all, though everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And let's just say soulless is kind of a little harsh. Maybe like a heartless bitch would have been better. Like that's what I would have said. Not soulless. I think she has a soul. I think she's just a heartless bitch. Man, guys, it is coming out on this one. All the people that are always like, you're so nice to her more than I would be. They're going to be like, you gave it to her, girl.
At the end of this whole conversation about you, James apologizes to the group for introducing you to everyone. They kind of say, well, you're the one that brought her in here. And he's like, sorry, guys. And they end by saying, that's the apology we all needed. What did that feel like to see?
It's just like one big, huge eye roll. It's like the blame game. It's like, well, it's your fault. Well, it's your fault. It's James's fault for even bringing her here. I think sometimes when I watch this show, I disassociate a little bit because it is painful to watch. And when I saw that, and also like when I see James, it's like I've had to work through a lot of emotions through that relationship. Seeing James's whole arc this season and how he has so much support, which is fine, like it's fine, but I don't think it's earned based off of the things that he has done. And so when I see that and like the cast all like laughing and bonding over, oh, that was the apology we needed. It's like it kind of makes you go insane a little bit because, you know, I've been apologizing, I've been taking accountability. This has been my, you know, my soul's journey through this experience of really trying to overcome my social anxiety and like seeing the show as an opportunity to do that. And then overcoming some of these codependency tendencies with James and overcoming that relationship. And then following my heart. And where did it lead me? Straight to Tom Sandoval. And meanwhile, all of this is being filmed. I'm in my 20s, and we're all supposed to make mistakes in our 20s and learn from it. And I feel like I've done exactly that. Yeah, I think it's just hard to watch scenes like
Someone seems like a salty bitch that James got support this season from his friends. These are people he's been around since his late, like 18, even 17, I believe. He's been around them for years. Literally since season 1. You might have not seen him, but he was there. He was in the photo shoot by the pool. If you don't remember, I recall. Because, you know, I am a fan. I admit it too. But James has literally had the support of these people for a long time. And honestly, this has been his best season yet. I believe that he has grown so much. He understands what he needs to do to be the person he wants to be. He wants to be this amazing DJ. He needs to not drink. I think he has found a path that he's following, and people are supporting him. The people that have been his friends since day 1. The people that he introduced you to. And it seems like it's a little bit of a problem for you that he's grown and he's in a much better place, and you just don't like it because when he was with you, you guys weren't in a good place. That's okay. But you being a salty bitch about it rubs people the wrong way. Your journey is your journey. Worry about you. I think that's like my new slogan for you. Worry about you, Rachel.
It seems to me when you talk about the experience with James versus the experience with Tom, that you actually get more choked up and emotional about James. And I sense more anger towards Tom. And it's like you're over it, you're past it. Is that accurate? How would you interpret or explain that?
Totally, yeah. I feel a lot more anger towards the Tom situation. And part of that is like anger towards myself for allowing myself to be in that position. With my relationship with James, looking back on that, I just feel a lot of pain, a lot of what I thought to be as self-sacrifice because I saw the potential of who this person could be. And I also clung on to the good moments and disassociated from the atrocious moments. Yeah, there's a lot of pain and trauma with that. And I think it also like makes sense as to why I wasn't okay after that relationship. And it makes sense how I ended up with Tom. With the relationship with Tom too, it was like so fun and like overjoyous and like, yeah, I didn't feel so good about it when I was hanging out with a group with Ariana, or like I didn't feel good about it when I wasn't with Tom. But then when I was with him, it was like I was able to fully escape and to feel okay. All that to say, yeah, there's a lot more anger towards Tom, especially the way that he's handling it. Like, no accountability, it seems like. And he just wants to put all the blame on me, which infuriates me. And then with James, it's like, I guess some resentment because I know how shitty of a partner he's been. And I felt like I had to step into like a motherly role with him. I think there's frustration and resentment, especially the way that the show's portraying him this season and like seeing his little hero arc. It's gross to me. When a part of you is hanging on to a relationship, even though you're the one breaking up with the person, it does feel painful when that person moves on so incredibly quickly. Like they only needed a few weeks to grieve and then they're on to the next. It does something where you think like, "Oh, did you not really love me? Were you not really in this relationship?" All of those thoughts go through your head and or for me anyway. And it's painful.
Again, I think you are mad that James has moved on and is doing better with the decisions that he's made with his life. He's happy with Allie. You think that this kid doesn't deserve a redemption arc just because you and him had a shitty fucking relationship? Come on now. That's like saying that you don't deserve some kind of redemption because you and him had a shitty relationship. Please, please. And yeah, her thing with Tom is still lingering. It's still hurting because it was something that you hid for so long. And when the truth finally came out, it takes time now to heal from all of those wounds that you created for 7 months with not even realizing that you were doing it. You have to heal just like he needs to heal. So yes, it is new still because it literally, well, when that was taped, had just happened. And then you are now figuring out who you are as a person. So you are healing from 2 relationships. And it's not just James then to Tom. You dated Oliver in between that whole ordeal. There were other guys involved. So like Peter, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you can't say it was just those 2. You made shitty choices along the way. You were lost and you're trying to find yourself. And everybody grieves differently. You might not feel like he could have gotten over you in 2 weeks, but maybe that's what he needed. Maybe that's how he grieved and how he got over his grief. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just something maybe you wouldn't do.
So how hard is it to watch the reunion back this year compared to last year? Would you say it's harder or easier not being there? But that also means that you didn't have the chance to respond and defend yourself this year.
It was definitely harder last year watching the reunion than it is this year, even though I'm not there to defend myself. That's kind of like the name of the game at this point. We're at the end of the season and I haven't been there the entire time to defend myself. I also know how reunions go. kind of know what to expect at this point. And I also know that my voice isn't in the collective of Vanderpump Rules. It is difficult in that way, but it's also like I have this podcast to be able to have a voice. I feel secure in myself just knowing that I'm able to at least have a voice.
So how do you feel about what Lala said towards Katie? Because for so long, Katie's been positioning herself as a no BS kind of girl. She says you bullied her and, she's ride or die for Ariana at the end of the day. Lala called her out for complaining about Ariana and not being true to herself and maybe playing to the cameras. How does that make you feel?
Yeah. Okay. So I had to rewatch that scene twice because I was confused at first. I was like, what are they arguing about? And it's kind of like one of those nuanced things where you have to take into consideration the show and the rules of the show and putting on a facade or a front for a means to an end, which I think every single cast member has done. So, yeah, it's interesting because I think, Lala wouldn't just make something up about Katie complaining about Ariana. And I think that Lala felt abandoned by Katie, especially after they were so close the year prior for season 10. I think Lala was just pointing out that, like, it's convenient that Ariana is the it girl and she is, the fan favorite. And it's very easy to kind of like flip flop into who is the fan favorite and to be close to them for longevity of your own fan base and the longevity of the show. But they also own a sandwich shop together. So I think there's like genuine connection there too. Yeah, it seems like there may be a little bit of manipulation with not being fully honest with how you feel about a certain person.
Girl, that's not it at all. It really isn't. Like, you are so far off base. It's not even funny. This is why you shouldn't interject yourself in shit that you have no fucking clue about. Like, just stop. Just stop, Rachel. First off, she was upset, yes, that Katie wasn't expressing her true feelings about what she was feeling. Though, at the time, Katie, yes, was feeling down about herself because she felt like, not left out, but just like she wasn't getting any attention. Here is her friend getting all the attention. She was feeling down about herself and how she felt about her, just everything she was going through, and entrusted in a friend to be like, hey, this is what's bothering me. And like, I really don't want to tell Ariana because I love her. I know that this is just me reflecting on how I'm feeling, and I'm getting down about myself because of all of this. And I know it has nothing to do with her because, like, it's just me getting in my own head. She trusted in a friend, and Lala felt that she wasn't being real by not talking to Ariana about the things that, yes, were bothering Katie. And that's okay for them to express. I don't think that Katie was being fake, and I don't think that she was trying to hide anything from people. I think she was just fighting her own demons in her head and trying to have a friend comfort her and kind of like, hey, do you understand what's going on? Because I feel like I'm eating myself alive, kind of a thing. And Lala took advantage of that and manipulated it because she didn't express it out loud to the entire world, though that's Katie's choice whether or not she wants to. So that's how I feel about that. What do you guys feel? Let me know down below. But I think Rachel just doesn't fucking get it. Like, she just doesn't get it. Stop trying, girl.
Katie did just post something.
Okay, I'll read this. Katie posted on her Instagram story, I'm someone who has suffered from imposter syndrome for as long as I have known myself, hence why I was apprehensive about opening the sandwich shop on my own. So when Ariana was going through not only a world of hurt, but also getting some amazing opportunities, that changed a lot of things during a pivotal time. I was extremely sensitive to what she was going through, but also very supportive. I was also dealing with immense insecurity about what I could take on and simply didn't want to put that on her. I had an emotional response that didn't feel appropriate bringing to her front door, so I went where I felt safe, or where I thought was safe. until I could find the appropriate conversation was to have with Ariana, which of course I did. And we have had plenty since. Okay. Here we go. It's so funny because like this show, social media is playing another aspect in reality TV these days, especially Vanderpump Rules, because, Katie was able to think about it and come up with a response. And I think her response seems to be genuine. And it's a little shady because she's basically saying, like, I trusted Lala to keep this in the vault and to keep this between us. And Lala went against Katie's expectation of friendship to bring it to the forefront for the show, which also supports the argument that Lala, she prioritizes the show a lot. Interesting. What do you guys think?
I pretty much already said what I had to say about the situation, but I want to show you Steph with the deets, her opinion on Katie's response. Check her out on IG.
After last night's Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1, Katie Maloney did put out a statement from someone who has suffered from imposter syndrome for as long as I have known myself. Hence why I was apprehensive about opening the sandwich shop on my own. So when Ariana was going through not only a world of hurt, but also getting some amazing opportunities, that changed a lot of things during a pivotal time. I was extremely sensitive to what she was going through, but also very supportive. I was also dealing with immense insecurity about what I could take on and simply didn't want to put that on her. I had an emotional response that didn't feel appropriate bringing to her front door, so I went to where I felt safe. Or where I thought was safe until I could find the appropriate conversation to have with Ariana. Which of course I did, and we have had plenty since. To know me is to know I value trust, loyalty, and integrity. Imagine opening up your first business. Your partner gets these great opportunities. They don't want to put any more burden on her. You yourself are definitely having insecurities. Now maybe it's going to take even a bit longer. Partner does have a lot going on. You call up one of your best friends and you're venting. Big deal. Katie not wanting to disrupt her relationship with Ariana. They're not just friends, they're business partners. We all vent to our friends, maybe sometimes even about other friends. But your bestie airing it out to the world, your private conversations, because they have no storyline and so they can only bet on other people's drama, that is not a friend. That's a snake.
A lot of fan feedback is that Katie just went and got a PR rep to write a statement for her, which is quite funny because that's what she always says about you. But the fans are all writing that she needed to go get help for a statement.
Oh.
She did seem very uncomfortable watching the reunion, kind of like she had these feelings, but she didn't want to target Ariana, so she did take them elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And when you confide, I feel like everyone's vented to a friend in like a moment of weakness. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily reflect on how you feel about that person. You just need to vent to someone.
Yeah.
So it did feel like that. But yeah, I think it's complicated when the person that you're venting to feels like you're on their side and then you're filming a show later and act completely differently. So there's layers, I think, to it.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely layers. I think it's also interesting how I'm no Tom fan, but to Tom and Tom's defense, not once have they talked down to the girls for the sandwich shop not opening on time and haven't made it like a big deal because they personally know how difficult it is to open up a bar or, a restaurant, whereas other people haven't been so kind to them about it. And then to Ariana's defense too, she did say like, I've always been supportive of that, which she has been. So
again, I think it was Katie feeling insecure, going to her friend, opening up to her friend, and just talking with her. I think she was trying to work it out in her own head, and if she didn't want to bring it to the show, she didn't have to. Why is Rachel and her publicist trying to figure out what Katie is saying and not saying? Like, what is it any of their business? They don't like when people overanalyze everything Rachel says, so why are they doing it? And I don't think that Katie had her publicist write this for her. I think these are her true thoughts and opinions. She went on her IG and posted it. Unlike Rachel, Katie doesn't need a PR rep for every fucking little thing. Katie's not concerned what people think about her. Katie's gonna do what she wants. And if people can't see that, then, well, they're just blind. She's always been like that. I mean, she said she was going to light someone on fire, and Rachel's publicist literally took it literally that she was going to light her on fire, which I made this awesome meme that I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be for the Disrespectfully podcast, but it's a little sneak peek because I got this AI bot from IG to actually make it, and it came out really cool. And also, quickly, we don't know what the Toms have said regarding Ariana and Katie's sandwich shop, and if they have made disses about them. I'm pretty sure Sandaval, the narcissist, has made disses to their sandwich shop and how long it's taken. Of course he would. And they're the type that they would say it so other people can't hear them, so that they can't use it against them. Let's be real now.
What about the actual sandwich shop itself, too? They said it was going to be open by the time the premiere aired, and everybody's still spinning the question, is it or isn't it? What's real? What's not? Is it a sham? Is it a storyline? And it's not open now, again, when they said it was going to be open. What do you think?
If it was a sham, I don't think that they would be announcing that it was going to be open, because they would know that people would be disappointed and they would get a lot of crap for it. So I don't know. I don't think it's a sham, but the projected opening of Something About Her is now May 22nd. May 22nd is only about a week post the reunion airing. So they're not that far off. But I mean, don't announce that they're going to be open by the time it airs if you're not, because I feel like people will just be like, all right, where can I order a sandwich? And people will be disappointed. Like I suspect they are now. I'm not reading the comments, so I don't know. But yeah.
Rachel, when you learn business and how a business works, you can then get back to us on this, because they were not expecting the issues with the permits that they ended up having with the awning, with the outside seating, and other things. Things that they didn't expect held them back. So, yes, it's kind of, and maybe in your opinion and other people's, fucked up that they announced something and it never happened. But things like that happen in life. It's called setbacks. And it's how you take those setbacks and you move forward. And different permits had different time limits that you had to get certain things done by before you could reapply for them to come back out. I don't know all the deets, but I can tell you this. They've already had soft openings, and we're not even at the 22nd yet. Though probably when this video comes out, it will be on the 22nd. But they still have already had some soft openings where, here, let's just look at some photos.
Dispatches from Something About Her, or Nothing About Her, as Lala says. Anyway, there's Andy, Stassi, Lindsay, and Bo. Bo! Anyway, obviously this place is open. It's open for real, so there's Kristen, duh. Then here's like the entrance, the awning. This is really cute. This is so cute. This video is from the Boys Lie girls. And there's Terry Maloney. Here's the menu. They're all leading ladies in rom-coms. That's what they're named after, or the sandwiches are named after. There's our girl. There's our girls. And here's me wearing Ariana's shirt, which is made by Boys Lie.
To kind of wrap things up, I feel like there was a little bit of tension between the cast. Clearly in the moment where like Lisa was talking about the sandwich shop with Ariana and Katie, there was definitely tension there between the girls and Lisa. Do you think this is a sign that the cast is kind of unraveling? What do you think about the future of this cast?
I think tension is like the show's middle name. And if there isn't tension, then it isn't doing well. So I think that, I don't know, like, is the show going to come back or not? That is the question on everybody's minds. And I think it's the right move, if they really are pausing it, to let the cast process this traumatic event for everybody, because it has been nonstop, and there really hasn't been any downtime to take a beat and process it. And I think they also are like, all right, what is the next season going to be? Because what are our storylines and what is the new drama? Because we're not going to keep harping on this. If Rachel isn't coming back, then there's no reason to keep talking about it because we've kind of beat the dead horse already. I think it's smart to let the cast live and create some drama in the real world to bring back for the next season if they are going to continue Vanderpump Rules. But I predict that Lala and Scheana are going to transfer over to the Valley because the Valley has been picked up for another season. And it just makes sense the way that they bought homes in the Valley and they have babies and they're friends with the cast over there. So it seems like a pretty seamless transition. I don't think that James and Allie will be in the Valley. I honestly think that this would be a great place for Vanderpump Rules to end because it's had a good run. I don't know. I think, and I'm hesitant to say anything because, I get picked apart, but whatever.
You get picked apart, but, whatever. Do you realize everything that you just said? I get you're a fan, girl. I know you don't believe it, but I get you're a fan. And if you don't really care about Vanderpump Rules, then why are you making predictions? Oh, because the publicist is asking, which really means that you want to answer these questions because they wouldn't be asking them to you if you didn't want to answer them. I don't really think anyone wants your opinion, but since this is my channel, I'm going to give my opinion. I think it's perfect that Vanderpump is on pause right now because so much is going on. Lala is pregnant. She's going to be due later on, fall, December time. I forgot when her actual due date is, but it's the fall winter time. Ariana's doing Love Island this summer. They just opened up the sandwich shop. They usually always record in the summer. So I think it would be a great mix-up to do it later on in a different season. Not like season as in, TV show season, but seasons as in the weather. I think there's so much more to be told. I don't think it has anything to do with they don't have storylines, so they all have to figure out what their storyline's going to be. Because that's a bullshit lie. They all have their own storylines. It's called life. You create it as you go. Something like you're trying to do, but it's just not working. And again, everybody from the Valley already was friends with people from Vanderpump. That's how they were all connected to create a show that people had some idea of who these people were. If Lala and Scheana both want to go over to the Valley and they get offered that, that's great for them. But see, you must not be paying attention to your friend Lala over there because she just did 2 Amazon Lives and she said that if the Valley asked her to go over, she would say no. Even though they picked it up for season 2. Now, do I believe that? No. I do believe if they say, hey, listen, Vanderpump is over. Do you want to be on the Valley? She would say yes. But if they're saying to her, there is going to be a season, 13 for Vanderpump. Do you want to go to the Valley or do you want to stay at Vanderpump? She's going to stay at Vanderpump. I think, like most other fans, not all of us, but I do believe that there is more for this story for everybody in this cast, and I do believe that we will have another season. It's just not going to be like a normal in the summer. We see them hanging out and partying. I think we need a different perspective. I think they do need a break from this. I think they all need a mental health check, have a great summer, not worry about filming right now, and pick it back up in the fall. That's just my opinion. I want to know, though, what you all have to think, because I really don't give a F what Rachel thinks. I want to talk to you guys. What do you think is going to happen with Vanderpump? Do you think that Scheana and Lala, or one or the other, would go over to the Valley, let me know down below.
I think the fans are starting to see how contrived the show can be, and that this friend group is not actually a friend group. They are cast members who have a job first and foremost and will do anything to secure their payday. But regardless, if this is the last season or if it's not, I wish the cast all the best. I really, truly do hope that they find healing in this because it has been traumatic. And I think that the show really does kind of emotionally stunt an individual. So I think we all have some catching up to do on adulting and life.
What is your definition of adulting in life, Rachel? Because if you think that you are adulting in life right now, you got a long way to go, girl. You are not concerned about whether or not you are going to have money to buy a house, have money to put aside for your wedding, a family, any of that. That's adulting. I don't see you doing that. So to be mad at them that they're securing their spot on a reality TV show that's been on for 12 seasons, that you think that the fans have no clue who these people are or what they're about, that they care about securing their spot for the next season and the next season and the next season. We're just the dumbest box of rocks around. Kind of like you, right? I know that I went hard on her, but it just got to the point with this episode. It's like I said a couple episodes ago. We took 2 steps forward and then 5 steps back with this episode. She got nowhere. Just when you think she's getting somewhere, you realize she's nowhere. She's still right where she is. I don't think that the show stunts people. I think that they are all trying to figure out life, just like any one of us in this world. And they are doing what they need to do to support their family, to keep living their life and enjoying it. And I think that you are struggling with finding what life means to you and what you want to do with your life and what you want to enjoy in your life. I think she would be nowhere without the show, and now she feels lost because she doesn't have it. So what she keeps doing is keeps running back to what she knows, which, whether she sees it or not, her talking about Vanderpump Rules and this season is her going back to what she knows, which is Vanderpump Rules. Literally, that's all she knows. I don't think she knows what she wants to do with herself. And she's wishing them all the best of luck. I wish you all the best of luck, Rachel, because I feel like you are in a stagnant pool of water. You don't know what to do, where you're going, if you should swim to the left, swim to the right, swim straight, or go backwards. I wish you all the best, girl. Thanks for this podcast. We got 2 more reunion parts to go with ya, and I hope that it goes a little bit more smoothly than this one. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed. And leave me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys again very soon. I have lots of videos coming your way, so if you're not subscribed, you do want to get subscribed. Bye, everyone.
Wanna burn all the bridges between us.